Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is episode 9 of All About Android, recorded on Monday, May 23rd, 2011. Your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Eileen Rivera.
I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards.
Yeah.
We're back.
We're back
together.
yet again.
Hi, everybody.
It was a little bit longer of a wait between last episode and this episode.
Yeah.
We actually got a couple of emails that were like, when are you going to have another episode?
I know. They said, did you guys
Like-
switch to Fridays? I'm like, oh,
Like,
man, it was
no.
me. I was on vacation. I went to Montreal,
Sorry
lovely
about that.
city. Very, very happy to have visited for the first time. Love the fact that I got a lot of Wi-Fi. Walking around downtown, there was,
Ooh, so the municipal Wi-Fi in Canada is better than here.
I don't know if that's true, but the availability in the more touristy places, I should say.
So it appeared in many places. You just couldn't connect to it in
No,
many
I
places.
connected.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I'm just saying I hear a lot of issues with Rogers broadband, so I'm not saying that is better than here. But the availability, I just takes me back to the question from one of our listeners who was going to Venice and said, "Oh, can I just depend on the Wi-Fi there?" And it's possible. And then if you have really good Wi-Fi in our hotel, which we did, then you could check all your messages there. Do everything via Google Voice, because I was texting via Google Voice.
Would you say that it filled the void for the most part while you were traveling there? You were able to do almost everything that you really wanted to do with your phone?
I was able to keep up with the Amazon app of the day.
Oh, hey.
Wow, and that's key. That's really all that matters. Well, it was funny because I had quite the opposite because I was in London last week and I was trying to text somebody through Google Voice and I couldn't because it would block me because I was not in the U.S.
Oh.
Which was frustrating. So, literally I was on the laptop in google.com/voice and it wouldn't let me, using it through a browser wouldn't let me use it. So.
Oh, how interesting. So I guess U.S. and Canada then. Because that's what I was doing. I was on the browser, IME. I'm like, I'm not going to get charged on my my cell phone, but I got to quick.
I totally was. I broke all the. I did what we're not supposed to do. So I'm in London. I was going to see a band play, and I was really excited. I took a picture, and I really wanted to post it to Twitter. And I should have looked for Wi-Fi, but I didn't.
No.
I turned on data roaming, and literally all I did, this is hysterical. All I did was turn on data roaming, open up Twitter, post a photo, check my @ replies, and turn it off. And then I get a text message saying I hit my $50. I have a set to tell me when I do $50.
Crap.
$50 in the span of 4 minutes. So if you travel internationally, don't turn on data roaming ever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, unless you purchase an international. We bought a 20 meg for $20. And so I would, check in on Foursquare and then I would turn it all off and then that would be it. Or I'd tweet I wouldn't even upload a photo. I would wait till I got back to the hotel. Okay, someone in the chat room says there's no Google Voice in Canada. I meant the chat in the web browser.
Oh, the G-Chat.
The G-Chat. And so what I did was I was logged onto my account and then I punched in a phone number and then was able to chat with that person and did texting on my browser, which I really liked. So,
that makes sense because I couldn't do it on Google Voice. So there you go. That makes sense.
Well, enough about us. We're going to talk about RSS readers today, more hardware video hands-on from Google I/O, and we've got some viewer feedback that we're going to attempt to get to. We're going to get to that.
We're going to get to it.
Yeah, we're
making
doing
that a priority. Well, let's get things started with some news. Edit. Okay.
Hey, I thought it still worked out, Jason.
Yeah, it's what makes the show authentic, right?
Exactly. Right. Hey, guess what? If you have a rooted device,
yes, I do.
Well, I don't think you're going to be able to watch your rented movies on them, Jason.
Oh.
Nah.
No, this actually really sucks.
Yeah, well, okay, so the announcement out, if you have a rooted device, plan on rented movies from Android Market's upcoming rental service. A Google support document revealed by Android Central states that you will not be able to do so as your device will have failed to fetch the license for your movie.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, that's really lame. It's interesting too because the way that they phrase it, and I don't know have the exact phrasing for it right in front of me, but they essentially paint it as if it were some type of a hardware restriction.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily come out and say this is a hardware restriction, that's why you can't do it because you've got a rooted phone. But when you read how they phrase it, it sounds like it could be, when in reality, I mean, it's got to be some sort of an agreement that they've made with the content producers in order to allow them to, bring these movies to devices. And if they expect folks who have rooted their phones or their devices to choose between one or the other, I'm pretty positive I know the answer is going to be that they're not going to unroot their phone and go to stock just so that they can rent movies through Google's service.
Yeah, this has DRM written all over it. And when I first read about it, when I first heard about it, I was like, this sounds like a bunch of suits in a conference room, and somebody at the movie studios at the MPA found out about rooted, and in their mind that means that they're unidentified users, and they said, okay, well, we can't have rentals on unidentified users. And I bet you it's just business people not understanding the technology behind it, and that's why that's kind of why we have to deal with it now.
Ooh, sorry for the glare here. I'm trying to show that I just rented March of the Penguins on the
on your tab
movie store, and then I hadn't launched one, but here I guess you can via the browser.
But you're doing it through the browser.
I'm doing it through the browser,
through the app, because the app requires 3.1. Is that right?
Well, we don't have the app
right.
yet
The next version of Honeycomb, which hasn't been released to 10.1.
So here we go.
Tab yet.
Sorry again for the glare if you're watching on video, but
so that's just running through the native browser on the tablet.
Flash.
Wow. That's not bad. Yeah.
Is that full screen?
No.
Can it go?
Are there any controls? Is there any Chrome? Oh, there it is.
It looks like it's YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
That's totally YouTube. Yeah.
So yeah, you can. I think.
I was really thinking.
I hit YouTube on accident. Sorry.
Wah. Well,
I was really wondering whether or not they were going to, because YouTube is pushing the movie rentals as well.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they were going to start, streamlining them both to be movie rentals be served by YouTube, and I guess so.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a YouTube Android market combined affair. I don't know if that'll be the case when it comes out as an app, if it's just going to be kind of a front end and playing. I guess it would be. I don't see why it wouldn't.
It makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't, if they've got all the media already encoded for YouTube, they're just going to drive it and you could just route it to the app. That makes perfect sense.
This looks really good right now. I'm holding it in a way. Oh, you could see I'm shaking a little bit. I'm shaking.
Oh, that's it. I was trying to get into the reflection and my arm ended up blocking the camera. Sorry about that.
But anyways, yeah, it's kind of do you think they're going to reverse this?
I don't know. I mean,
no, I don't think so.
Really?
Unfortunately, I kind of agree. I think it would be very hard for them to reverse this if the reason behind this is that they made deals with content providers that they wouldn't allow it. I don't know. And then I think about their reasons, for doing this. Well, if they have a rooted phone, then maybe they'd have a way to steal the movie or whatever. Even though there are a million different ways out there that are probably a higher quality, better way of getting these movies illicitly if you wanted to, versus like capturing a flash file.
I really think it's that. I really think it's ignorant business people who think rooting equals pirates. Right. I think that's all of it's going to boil down to.
You're still purchasing it from the store.
Right. But they see that they're doing something illicit to their phone in rooting it in the way they understand it.
Yeah, and they don't get it. They just don't get it. They don't
and the thing is that I think Google's doing one of those pick your battles type things.
Maybe I'm feeling like maybe they'll come around, like another story that we have later in the show. But before that.
Well, let's move on to the next story here. So earlier last week, this is probably a little bit of older news at this point, but earlier last week, researchers had announced the discovery of a significant unencrypted hole inside versions 2.2.3 and older of Android, in essence, leaving almost 99% of devices vulnerable to the exploit. And within 2 days, Google announced that a server-side fix was going to be rolled out, and I think, in fact, it has rolled out at this point, meaning no changes were required on the individual devices which kind of, when this first came out, that was the big question. It was like, whoa, so you've got to be, a certain version of Android in order for this, this vulnerability to not affect you anymore, the newest version of Android. So that must be, some sort of an update that has to happen to your hardware. Well, Google did something on the back end, on the server side, to correct that, which is really cool. And they actually responded pretty quickly to patching the hole. So kudos to Google for doing that. Just makes me kind of wonder what other things they could possibly improve, server side, that could maybe bridge a little bit of that the gap that seems to be out there with as many,
big capital F.
Yes, there we go. I'm like, wait a minute, what
F?
is that word? Suddenly
that
blanking.
F-word?
But yes, the F word that's not the F word you're thinking of right now, but fragmentation. That F word. Yes. So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting that they were able to get in there and really take care of this really quickly.
Yeah.
What else could they do to kind of improve things?
And the fact that it was server side and that basically it required no update on our part or anybody, you didn't need to do anything to your handset. Yep. That is, it's kind of makes you wonder where the exploit actually was. Wasn't on software on the phone, or else we would have seen a over-the-air push. And you're right. I mean, the fact that they can fix things on the server side and have us never be aware of it and know that it's secure, that's great. I think that's optimistic for problems down the road. Mm-hmm. And it's also great to see the turnaround time get so quick. They respond so quickly.
Sure.
But I mean, that's what they got to do as soon as everybody starts talking about these security issues or anything like that, they've got to scramble and tackle it immediately. So.
Yeah, and Steven3X in the chat room is correct when he guessed that flapjacks was the F word that I was talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
That's good. All right, let's move on to the next one.
So as Eileen mentioned, a little bit of rare news of AT&T actually doing something we like.
Yes.
AT&T has confirmed to Android developers that sideloading will be present from here on out on their phones.
See, so maybe there's hope for Google and the movie rental issue. But anyways. Go.
Exactly. So recently AT&T made sideloading official. They put out an update to current device holders, enabling the trust unknown sources option, as well as they notified developers that on all their phones moving forward, that will be left open. And we can mainly thank the Amazon App Store for not working, and AT&T realizing the importance of the behemoth of Amazon, and maybe that should work on phones, and maybe they should allow sideloading. So so if you're an AT&T Android user, you can install any app you like from any source. You're no longer constrained just to the market.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is rolled out to most AT&T phones by now, and I can't remember if you even get a notice that it's appeared, or if it just kind of magically, the OTA rolls out and suddenly you've got that option in your settings. So if you're on AT&T and you didn't have that ability before, check it out. And you can now get apps from the Amazon App Store, which I gotta say, I check it every day. It's
free app a day. Free app of the day.
They got you with that little deal.
Now the problem is that the free app isn't always one you want to keep, but at least you tried it.
No, absolutely not.
It's okay though.
Yeah,
they're not all winners, but if you don't check every day, you don't catch it when it is a pretty big win.
Yeah, like I missed Tweetcaster. We were talking before the show. I didn't get Tweetcaster. I did get Baseball Superstars, whatever yesterday.
I skipped that one.
I passed that one.
I would skip it. It was a weird Japanese baseball game. It was very bizarre. But,
and how many of us have downloaded Bubble Popper for today?
I did not.
Oh, I think I did.
You did.
Well, no. You know what? I marked it. And I don't think I actually downloaded it to my phone, but I marked it so that I could download it later to my tablet.
This is Jason on the tablet. Bubble Popper.
I don't know. Nice. I haven't played it. Is it any fun?
I don't know. There's a test drive, but I
there's so many of those bubble games out there.
It's one of those. See, now I'm thinking, it's free. I'll just go ahead and download it, whatever, and delete it later.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, whatever. Well, good on AT&T.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That was a really good about face that they did there, because when news broke that they weren't going to allow that because they thought it made their phones more secure, it was really it's kind of bad news.
Well, again, it goes back to the same thing with the Google and the rentals and rooted phones. It's like you've got people in a business role who hear terminology and think, and like, so you can imagine somebody at AT&T like, well, why would we want somebody to install apps from another source? Like, we wouldn't want that. It's and realizing that it's these are the kind of detailed technical ways the phone works that sometimes the business people don't quite understand.
Yeah.
And so it's good to see that somebody stepped in and said, no, we should allow this. So that's good.
Cool.
On to hardware.
Let's do it.
Hey, guess what? New device is coming out. in the Android world.
No.
Yeah.
That never happens.
May 22nd, you can buy it at Best Buy, the Wi-Fi HTC Flyer, which we actually had a chance to have our hands on at Google I/O, and I think we'll show a little bit of video. Now, I got to play with it a little bit. It's 1.5 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, a 5-megapixel camera, and a front-facing 1.3 megapixel camera. Internal memory is listed as 16 gigabytes. However, a micro SD slot allows for additional storage. Other details include support for 802.11bgn, GPS, Bluetooth, an MHL port, and DLNA capability.
Lots of other letters.
Okay, there's the stylus.
But yeah,
I was going to say, that's a sweet stylus you got there.
The $80 stylus when you can buy one for $20 online.
Yeah, but this isn't just like a stick that you draw with. I mean, it is. That's what we're looking at here. But
Sure
I mean, it's
looks
not just a dumb stick. It's got a couple of buttons on it that
to erase
that
and
do things.
You know what I want? I would seriously consider a stylus like that if there was the clicky to make it go from a point to an actual pen. And you can use it
but
either
look,
as a normal pen or a
You have different
stylus.
gradients. You have different thickness on this app.
Yeah.
See on the right-hand corner there, and then you can change the color and stuff. But you want to do
like
it
your
all in the
palette.
pen.
Yeah. If you could make it bounce between a pen or a stylus, that'd be cool. Like, you know, like those pens where you could change the color of the ink?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know what
Oh,
you're
so
saying.
just pop out the
little-
stylus.
Got it,
and
got it, got
Yeah,
it.
suddenly
exactly.
it's
You
an
just do the
actual
little
ink
thing on
pen.
the top. Instead of the red ink, you get the blue ink
Yeah,
instead
but
of the black ink. Yeah, so.
You know what would really suck though if you're
you
talking
had the
about an
wrong-
actual pen and stylus pen hybrid is confusing the two, right? You think
Yes,
you're about
exactly.
to write with the stylus and you totally like ink mark up your screen. That would really
That is a
suck.
very good point. And knowing my track record, I imagine
I don't
you
know.
would see.
All right.
But it
so-
was a nice little
Yeah,
tablet.
it was a nice little tablet. I'm still, a proponent of the stylus for various things, like if you are an artist and you want to
Yes.
draw. Also, this weekend, Tom and I had documents to sign, and we didn't have a printer in our hotel, and so he used an app on another competing device, and we used our fingers to sign, and it was fine for the signature to sign, but then when you're trying to write the date, like just 5-19-20, it looks like I was 2 years old or 3 years old trying to write, and here we're sending an official document, resending it via email using that app, and it, I would, if we had a stylus, it would have looked a little more
that
proper.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I certainly think that a stylus has its place. It has a bad rap because it's seen as old technology,
Handspring, everybody.
anything,
Yes,
any
exactly.
old devices that did what our devices do now had a stylus, and so you kind of associate with that. But I certainly think a stylus has a place. I don't think you can base like the necessity of operating a device around a stylus anymore. I think
No.
that's
I-
definitely an old idea. But
I
this
feel like
doesn't
this-
do that.
I feel like the stylus is distracting from the actual tablet itself, though. I mean, like, you don't need to use the stylus with this tablet. And it's a neat little...
No.
Yeah,
Certainly
it's a
not
neat
essential.
little Wi-Fi tablet, and I'm curious. It's funny because as these things come out, more and more tablets come out. I'm curious to see, like, it's going to be in Best Buy. Are consumers going to buy them, and is this going to find its way into the kitchen or into the the regular people's home, and they start using a tablet on their Wi-Fi network? That's pretty cool. So, and if they need a stylus, then so be it.
So be it. To each his or her
So
own.
you can
when it comes
pre-order
to
that,
styluses.
and I forget the price here. I think it's like $500. And then it is also if you buy it at Best Buy, it's $500. If you don't buy it at Best Buy, you don't get the stylus. Or I might have that opposite.
If you don't buy it at Best Buy, you don't get the stylus.
Let me double check that. We should move on, and I'll correct that during the
Or
show.
the chat room will correct
Yeah,
us.
correct-
But I mean,
yeah.
the stylus is extra. It doesn't come with the tablet. You actually have to pay extra for it. So there's that. It's got to be pretty important to you for you to get that. We also took a look at the LG Optimus 3D. Now, this is a phone that, it's got 3D in the title, so you can kind of guess what its thing is. And I went ahead and did a little stand-up thing about it. So here we go. Hey guys, so I'm here looking at the LG Optimus 3D. It's my first time kind of taking a look at this phone. It has the stereoscopic cameras on the back, and obviously it's built into the name. The whole thing about this phone is the 3D experience. What you have to realize is when you're looking at 3D on the screen, yeah, it's 3D and it's glasses-free 3D, but it's essentially taking the resolution of the screen and cutting it in half, and then bending those pixels to kind of give you a little bit of that perspective. So when when you think about taking the resolution of the screen, which right now looks pretty sharp and is not that bad, go ahead and cut that in half and then put, some fast-moving imagery on there, and it kind of cuts it down a little bit. But I think the cool thing here is what the potential is for 3D in a UI environment. There's some cool, it's built into some of the menus that you can use, and it kind of shows the potential for what you could possibly do in making the phones a little bit more useful if you have that 3D environment to wrap it in. Now, it's LG Optimus 3D, but it's actually going to be coming out on AT&T as the LG Thrill. They didn't give me a specific day, but they said sometime by the end of the summer. So if you happen to want a 3D Android phone, this might be your ticket.
Well
do
then.
you? Well, do you? I don't know. It was cool. It was all right. It just, I couldn't help but feel like looking at when it was in its 3D mode, like the only way I can describe it is, when I was a kid, they had these little stickers that have this like faux 3D, and when you look really close at it, it's kind of like these tiny little lines. Is that lenticular?
It's called lenticular. Yeah.
Okay.
There was they're the stickers where, and you would angle it, and you would see like the movement, or you'd see it like the image change.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. It felt like that. It's almost like, you see it in 3D, and it's kind of cool because things are popping out and everything, but it just doesn't look quite right. It also kind of reminded me of, looking at those posters where you have to kind of relax your eyes before you start to see the image kind of pop out at you. And, when things were moving really fast, it was just very hard to get kind of a clear image. But I give it props for trying, and the fact that it has the stereoscopic cameras on the back, you could actually just kind of hold it up and, look into it and see, a less sharp 3D than what you'd see in reality, but nonetheless it was 3D of what you're looking at,
I forget the name of the app, but I think it was an iOS app, and I apologize, but it was an email application that actually used the camera, and the background was the output from the camera, so you could rewrite checking email as you walk.
Oh yeah. Walk in text or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. So imagine add 3D to that, and it's like you're in the real world when you are in the real world.
Yeah, no, totally. Actually, along those lines, it was just announced that it includes the first, what they claim, the first 3D augmented reality browser called Wikitude 3D that would do just that. You hold it up and you'd see your environment in 3 dimensions, and it would kind of give you that depth and tell you kind of what you're looking at. What that's a Starbucks off in the distance and whatever. I don't know how handy that is, but everybody talks about augmented reality as if it's this thing that's going to, be really cool eventually. Maybe it's a little early days.
My problem with augmented reality is that it exists in reality.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like you've got to hold the phone to tell me that there's a Starbucks across the street when I see the Starbucks. And the thing is, I mean, like I see the purpose of augmented reality where it gives you some more information. I still think that the phones are too small of a window to that.
I totally agree.
Yeah, but add in 3D, and that could be some pretty cool applications. So
and maybe it's a sign of things to come. If this is, version 1, what will version 3, if they make it that far, with LG Optimus 3D, or as they call it, the LG Thrill for AT&T, what will the version 3 be? I'm sure it'll be improved and it'll look a lot sharper. And I was a little wrong in that stand-up. I don't know why I'm calling it stand-up. 1080p is the clarity when you're just looking at the screen without 3D. 720p for 3D, so it cuts it down. But I feel like it was even worse than 720p, because 720p even to me looks pretty good, and it looked a lot duller than that. So, anyways, check it out.
Good job, Jason.
Thanks.
Okay, so this is an article from Engadget. HTC adds that the Flyer will only come without a pen if you get it at Best Buy.
Oh, really?
Oh,
interesting.
That's weird.
So then,
is it cheaper then, or?
Yeah.
So you can know where else you can get it right now, honestly, but
that's weird. Okay.
Well, that's what this article says here. It was posted May 6th, so if it's changed, let us know. But
all right.
I just remember that. Okay, well, moving on. Amazon is prepping dual-core Coyote and quad-core Hollywood tablets for 2011, possibly priced at $349 and $449 respectively. Hot. What do you guys think?
So are they going to brand these as Kindles?
Good question.
They could.
Yeah.
It's their brand, right?
Right. I mean, like if you ask me when I think Amazon tablet, I think Kindle. And we've been waiting for a full color Kindle. Will we get a Kindle that's running Android in full color and it's a tablet from Amazon? That'd be amazing.
I feel like they have to brand it with Kindle. Kindle in and of itself whether people understand the association with Amazon or not is a recognizable name at this point.
Yeah.
And for the people that don't understand, that it's associated with Amazon, they hear Kindle, they think of one thing.
Yeah.
They hear Amazon Awesome Pad or whatever, and it's not going to quite have that familiarity as a Kindle Tab or something like that.
But those price tags, are they talking the right language with the price tag, aren't they?
Yeah,
At least the
under
rumored price
five.
tag.
Under
Under
five.
$5.
Dual core at $349 and quad core at $449. That's pretty. If that's true, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, performance.
But it's rumor at this point. This isn't fact yet, right? I mean, this is
a
just
rumor. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if these are confirmed, but I mean, all signs are pointing.
For some reason, the Amazon rumors tend to come true. I don't know. Have you noticed that?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like we heard wins of the App Store, and that came true. We heard with the Kindle, we heard rumors of the different sizes, that came true. Like I feel like the Amazon rumors sometimes really do come true as opposed to other companies. So
okay, so who's gonna get one? I kind of want one. Well, I guess it depends on all the specs and whatnot.
Yeah.
But can you imagine an Amazon tablet running with the Amazon App Store, with Amazon's
music and movies?
Exactly. Their cloud storage for the music, or the movie rental stuff they already have. Although their library isn't as robust as iTunes, but it's more robust than Google. So I mean,
man, they want to really compete with Google and with Apple. So it's a good thing if they come into this as another power player. I'm excited. I would be welcoming them with open arms.
They really, from what I understand, they really wanted to be able to release this with a dual layer screen. So having the e-ink as well as a regular display. They weren't able to hear, but from what they were saying, it sounds like they're still working in that direction. That would be really exciting.
That'd be crazy. That'd be awesome.
Man.
So,
I'm liking it.
Both worlds.
Yes.
Yep. So our last little bit of hardware, I feel as if we need a new bumper for like Jason Phone Watch.
Yes, we do.
Jason Phone Watch.
Totally do.
Exactly. So I have a new entry point into the arena for Jason's next phone.
Oh, really?
Sharp has announced the world's first Android phone that's a clamshell.
Wait a minute. First.
Think about that. Think about it. It's actually a flip phone or a clamshell phone. And
I love that you're doing the hand sign.
Exactly.
Clamshell.
The specs on it, it's a weird, I don't know if we can pull it up, but it's a weird looking phone.
It's loading right now.
So
the
specs are interesting. It's got a 1 gigahertz second gen Snapdragon processor. So it's not as fast as I thought it would be, but it has a 16 megapixel rear camera. It's got a front facing camera for video chat. It's got a 3D ready display, so you're ready for your 3D video, and it's also got a 3D TV tuner in the phone, which is kind of crazy.
Viewers, if you're watching.
And so look at this phone. So it's a flip phone. It's a clamshell, and
but then it looks like a regular camera when it's closed up.
It does.
I mean, considering what it is, it actually has a decent form factor. When it's flipped open, it looks kind of nerdy. But
well, my question is, when it's flipped open, what are the specs of the screen? And is the screen a total touch screen? Will you need a little stylus to be able to use it at that small of a detail?
Stylus.
No, you just have to have really small fingers.
Well, you've got it's
tiny
got
little fingers or really long fingernails.
It's got that gold trackpad there, which you can, which looks like it's probably a main navigation tool. I don't know. This phone is wacky, but it begs the question: how have we not seen an Android-powered flip phone yet?
It's weird.
That is bizarre.
It is strange. I mean, one thing that's kind of interesting about this is it actually can flip into being not a flip phone. In other words, the screen can flip down facing out, so it's like any other Android phone out there. But
it doesn't.
Yeah, it's strange that we haven't seen this before.
It's not dual core,
Not
though,
dual
Jason.
core.
So I feel like that's already a check off the list.
That's the only thing keeping me from this phone is the whole dual core thing.
I think it is. You've been holding out for this Bionic forever.
And honestly, I'm surprised that it's not dual core, given that it's they're driving 3D.
3D, I know.
Yeah.
16 megapixel camera, and they're really pushing video chat. Like when you're doing intensive video, you need processor. So.
Gotta wonder how good that camera actually looks if it's 16 megapixels on a phone. Yeah,
Wacky. I love the Japanese. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's branded Aquos. It's branded the Sharp Aquos brand, like my TV.
Who knows? So. This could be a pretty awesome phone when it comes out. I don't know. There's something just very retro to me about the Flip, even though that was only a couple of years ago. I certainly had one, and there was something very satisfying about flipping it open to take a call,
or hanging up on somebody and slamming it shut. I'm done with that call. It's
nice
you hear that
counterpoint.
clap.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
All right.
So
I had a razor.
Jason Phone Watch 2011 continues.
Okay.
Yes. I think you were close on this one, Ron. You know me well, obviously.
I guess I don't know you at all, Jason. I thought you were going to get the bionic.
All right. Let's see here. I guess it's time to move on to apps. All right.
Cool. So in apps, interesting. It's always interesting when a very popular iOS application gets ported over to Android. And in this case, it's a game. When the iPad first came out, one of the games I first heard about everyone raving about was Plants vs. Zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And so now PopCap, the developer of Plants vs. Zombies, has made it available for Android and for free.
Not yet.
Well, yeah.
Not yet.
It will be free for a day, essentially.
Right. I was going to say that.
Oh,
You didn't-
I'm sorry.
We were like, wait, no.
No, it's not a free app.
So they're going to be releasing it to the Amazon App Store exclusively sometime in the next week or so. And when they
This is
do
on
that,
Honeycomb. We're looking, right?
yeah, it'll look great. It will be the free app of the day, so make sure to keep an eye out for it. And apparently everybody loves this game, so you're going to want to grab it.
Oh, my God. It is a great game. Can we hear a little bit of the theme song?
Oh, the theme song. Let's see.
You should be able to get this as a movie if you beat the game.
Oh, so this is the song that plays at the end of the game?
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, if they do it the same way. But you could actually just download this song. Look at this.
Oh, it's got a little bouncing flower.
1, 2, 3.
This sounds like a flower is singing it. It really does.
This is fun.
So what is the deal with Plants vs. Zombies? It's a what kind of game is this? I know very little about this game, to be honest.
Oh.
Other than the fact that I'm going to get it because everybody seems to talk about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically you're planting, you're trying to, it's like a fortress or what, a tower, like a, almost
Tower
like tower
defense.
defense game.
Tower
So
defense,
basically you're planting plants and they all have different things and defenses against the zombies that are coming. So some of them launch watermelons, some of them just launch peas, some of them are bombs. And so when the zombies are walking to try and get into your front door, you just have to place them in areas. And then, of course, there's like timing, and you have to have the sunflower seeds grow in order to get more points, in order to buy the other items. Oh, it's amazing.
Huh. Well, I mean, and the graphics look nice and cutesy,
cool.
but polished.
Yes.
PopCap is one of the leading iOS game developers. So, they've led the way with Plants vs. Zombies. So it's good to see them moving over to Android. Hopefully we'll see more kind of like pro level games. Not that we don't have that on Android, but as the developers accept Android as a platform, we'll get more games. So that's good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they actually premiered on the Android App Store.
Chuzzle,
was it
right?
Chuzzle?
Yeah.
Which I haven't played.
I haven't either. I have it, though. I got it.
Yeah,
it was
I know,
the
me
free
too.
app of the day.
Sorry to step on you there, Ron. I was like, no, it's
No
not a
worries,
free app. I thought that I wrote that wrong or something. So
No. It was a dramatic reading of the news.
Hey, that's one way to get their attention, and it's free. ... with a catch. All right, Eileen, what do you got?
Well, we've been talking about in the arena, we have, various apps that we all are kind of fighting for to win. But there's also apps out there that we just want to show off as, hey, this is a really cool app. And a lot of times we get questions about things. And I don't know, I just want to talk about more than one app. So one app that I discovered was basically through an email. And the email was from Alan Engel, who says, is there a camera app or way to set up cameras so that the photos go to a cloud folder like, say, Dropbox? That way they are on the phone but can be moved, accessed in other places as well as from another computer. SugarSync has a similar way, but I do not want that. Okay, so originally when I answered him, I said, well, what about Pick Please? When you take a picture, then you upload, they have Dropbox functionality, it'll go straight there. And he's like, no, I want it to go automatically after you take the photo on your native camera app. And I said, I don't know if that exists. So I did a little search and I found Drop-In, which is free in the marketplace, the Android marketplace. And basically, once you download it, you give them your Dropbox account. And if you don't use Dropbox, then this is obviously not going to work for you. But once you sign in, log in, basically all your photos start uploading from your phone to Dropbox. And every time you take a picture or a video, within, I'd say, about 30 minutes, it gets uploaded to your Dropbox automatically. You don't have to do anything.
okay.
So once you
That's
take the
very
photo, it'll upload. It does. There's a 30-minute window. I don't know why it's 30 minutes.
So you can't set that? You can't set the sync time?
I don't think so. That's a good question.
Yeah,
And
maybe
it
not.
doesn't give me any. If you see here, It doesn't give me any functionality other than just logging in. If there is, let me know, but I don't think so. But it's really cool because what if your phone gets stolen, or what if you lose all your data somehow, something, and everything was on your phone. There's a lot of pictures that I take. I'd like to have that automatically backed up, and it is on Dropbox. And there are other ways, obviously, to do it, but this is just automatic. I was really surprised that it worked. You just take the photo and there you go.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's just kind of monitoring your picture folder for any new photos at that interval.
Yeah, you create a folder.
It'd be nice to be able to kind of tweak that, because maybe somebody does it, because I'm sure every 30 minutes instead of every 15 is going to save your battery. Yeah. But I would probably choose for once a day. That's probably fine for me. And if I lost a day's worth of photos for how few photos I take on my phone, that's probably fine.
Well, it just depends on how many photos you take. I mean,
exactly.
I've only taken like 2 today, so that's not bad. And then you just wait,
Yeah, I mean,
minutes.
so if you're taking 2 and it's checking every 30 minutes, it's probably checking too much at that point. So it'd be nice to tweak that, but that's really cool. That just kind of backs up your photos as you go along.
So check that out.
Nice. Awesome.
That's a very neat little app.
Yeah, I like that. I have also been playing around with the little Galaxy tab that we got at I.O. And, the thing that I've been kind of trying to find is a keyboard that I like. It has... Actually, the Samsung keyboard that comes with the Galaxy Tab is okay when I disabled the auto correction, because the auto correction was just... It was just doing really funky things, but the actual keyboard layout on the Samsung keyboard was fine. But I kept hearing about this keyboard called Thumb Keyboard, and I went ahead and bought the keyboard. And let me see if I can pull it up on the screen here for y'all. So, okay, right now it's just in normal keyboard mode. It's actually really versatile in the sense that you can get it to do a number of things pretty easily, pretty quickly. It has all the typical things like, as you type along, it gives you kind of suggestions for what you might want to type up at the top for easy access. But I think the strength of Thumb Keyboard is in the different keyboard layouts that you can choose. So down here, there are these different buttons that pull up different configurations. So if I hit that, it splits my keyboard off onto the sides. And it looks funky at first, but on a tablet, it's actually very useful because you hold it side by side. And you can, you got your space bars down there. You just kind of type, hello, and how are you? I'm typing sideways, so I'm probably misspelling things.
Have you found your typing to be more efficient this way?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, it's certainly more efficient this way. If you want, you can set this little button right here. That is a single hand typing. If all you want is your right hand typing or whatever, I haven't found a use for that. Or you can have the full keyboard as well. It has these things, this little pin icon down here that you can actually assign phrases to. So if you've got something that you type a lot and you don't want to have to type it, you can just hit that, boom, and it just places it right in there. It also has these little configurable boxes up at the top. When I hit this, it'll enable this, what do they call it? The function keys. And there are these little boxes up at the top here that if I long press that, I can add a key binding to it, or add a phrase to it, or however I want to program those things. But it's just a really configurable keyboard app for the tablet. And also, one other really cool thing when I go into settings here is that it comes loaded with all these different themes, so you can get it to look.
I like that.
I haven't tried iPad. This might be sacrilege.
Uh-oh.
But let's see.
Oh,
so there's the iPad layout, but it has a ton of different themes so that you can kind of theme it the way that you want. And it's $2.49. I think it's totally worth it.
So that's the price of a cup of coffee. That's the price of a cup of coffee to get a really good keyboard for your tablet. That's amazing.
There you go. Yeah,
I'm
really
downloading it right now. That's awesome.
Nice. But yeah, I highly recommend checking that out. And again, that is Thumb Keyboard. It actually, I should also mention, it's not just for a tablet. It actually has this little split keyboard for the phone as well. You can kind of see it right there. Maybe they have a better shot of it down on the screenshots. Right here. So they've got this little split keyboard. So you can kind of essentially do the same.
I might try that on my phone. Because I actually really like typing like a typewriter on my tablet, so I don't I tried doing thumb stuff and it's a little awkward for me, but for the phone,
yeah,
that might actually, I don't know. We'll see.
I haven't installed it on my phone yet because it just it wasn't why I was buying it.
Right,
but now that I think about it, typing on my narrow Droid screen is such a pain. I mistype all the time because my fingers are just too big. This actually makes the buttons a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
This might be just the ticket, and it has a lot of like haptic feedback, and you can assign a noise to the clicks if you want. It's pretty annoying, I think, but you know, if you need that kind of feedback, you can get it.
I'm installing it right now, and it looks like there's like a numerous configurations on the keyboard here.
Oh yeah,
like,
you can
like
customize it entirely.
You can split the keyboard. You can stack it so that part of the keyboard is a button. Like I don't know why you'd want that, but yeah, it looks really. Oh, this is fascinating. Good find, Jason.
And if you need to resize, so you know it has the default layout for how it spans the screen. If you want to narrow that down and squish it, I mean, you can change all of that. You can customize it to fit your hands, basically. So, really useful app. Again, thumb keyboard, and I urge you to check it out. I urge you.
Can I make one addendum to my app really quick?
Yeah, go for it.
We were talking about how many times it uploads. There is a option for Wi-Fi only. When you're Wi-Fi only, you could have that sync. I check that, so I guess I'm only syncing when I'm on Wi-Fi.
Oh,
you don't have to use your data.
Oh, yeah. No, that's and that's going to save a lot of people, I would imagine.
And then there's an ad. It's free. Whatever. What are you going to say? All right, so I'm thumbing this here because my personal email is here.
I will get off the screen so you don't have to do that anymore. In fact, why don't you meet me over at camera 1 and we'll talk a little bit about the folks at trimtonic.com, or as Eileen likes to say, delicious.
Delicious. It tastes like punch.
Trim Tonic is a natural appetite suppressant tonic that takes the edge off of being hungry. What makes Trim Tonic unique is that it uses no stimulants to get this effect, no caffeine, no huja. Instead, it has 8 active ingredients, some of which have clinical studies showing their ability to curb appetite and reduce body fat. The 3 main ingredients are, let's see if I can do this, Acrandus aspera, Ervingia gabonensis. Wow. Those are seed extracts, both of which are tropical plants used in India and Africa for curbing appetites. And the third is cocoa leaf extract. Be sure to visit www.braintonic.com. That's braintonic with a Q.com. For more information, enter coupon code TWiT for a 20% discount. And go do that. Check it out.
Yeah, I ate a lot while I was on vacation, so maybe I should be drinking some of this as natural appetite management supplement.
I think you should.
Because I was going to go on a diet, and I probably still will, but this will help maybe.
Do both.
At least for the rest of the show.
I'm going to do both.
All right. Well, how about we get a little rage on and enter the arena?
Enter One Lives Android Arena.
Boom. Okay. Well, first of all, I know. First of all, let's check in on last week's poll. Last week we talked games, and we had. Oh
my God! I'm so disappointed in all of you guys. Oh my God!
They fell for my retro.
Oh my God!
My retro poll.
Obviously, you guys aren't hardcore gamers out there. I'm kidding.
Yeah, Duck Hunt won at 52%, taking a little over half.
What's a girl got to do to get you to vote for her app? Huh? Huh? Little side scroller action. I bet you all wouldn't vote for Plants vs. Zombies. Okay, I'm just bitter.
Maybe you do Plants vs. Zombies next time we do a game. You'll probably win. It's a good game.
Not if you threw Duck Hunt in there again, or
I'll find like Super Mario Brothers or something.
Yeah,
Pole
exactly.
position or something.
Yeah.
Something super retro. Something really 8-bit and awesome.
See, I've got our audience pegged. I know. Yeah, so Duck Hunt at 52%, Stellar Escape at 27%, and Glow Hockey at 21%. But they were all fantastic games, so you should check them out.
Get them all.
Don't just get Duck Hunt. I mean, you've played that game a million times.
Yours
Play
was
some new
free,
games.
right? Yours was free?
Yes.
Mine was the only paid.
Oh.
When you pay,
ooh, there you go.
You get what you pay for.
Oh, that very well could be.
Just trying to
very
make
well
y'all feel
sometimes
bad.
it is.
I know it's not working, but I'm bitter that I lost again.
Well, Maybe you won't lose this time.
I think I will, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I kind of think you won't.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. We'll
think
see.
Yours is going to win again.
I doubt that. No, I don't doubt it. I'm not saying that I don't like my app. I actually really do like my app, and I use it a lot. But I also like your app a lot too.
Oh, thanks.
So, well, I'll just go ahead and get started with mine. And I am going. So basically, this week we're talking RSS readers, and if if you've looked on the market, there's a number of them out there, but there are a few that kind of rise to the top. And really, the ultimate goal, I'd say, in this category is making it easy to manage and monitor, the numerous RSS feeds that you want to subscribe to keep up on your news and stuff. And I just went with the basic Google Reader app. So let's go ahead and put up the market link there. It's a free app install. Obviously, all Google apps, I think, are for the most part. But it essentially ties right into your Google Reader account. So if you've used Google Reader online, you're in luck. It's all there and synced up from the moment you install the app. So there's the app on the phone. You can kind of see right off, you've got your start items up there. If you actually use that, I actually use that quite a bit for this show as I read articles and I see something that I really like, I'll star it. And then when I'm at a desktop, I can kind of pull those and drop those into the lineup. You can get a combination of every single item, but I mean, man, I'm subscribed to over 100 feeds. So that would be a lot of noise intermixed with what I actually want to take a look at. Your stuff, you can create notes in Google Reader, which I don't really understand exactly the difference between that and starring something, except the fact that with creating a note, it's easier to share it with others. So sometimes I do that as well from certain apps that I'm using on the phone. It's just easier for me to do that, and it won't allow me to star things. If you are into the Buzz world, the Google Buzz world, I think that's where people you follow, although I'm pretty sure I'm not following 594 people. Whoa. I don't know how that is so high. And I don't use Buzz anyways, so I don't really use that feature. But you'll see down below here all of my different subscription categories: audio production, Android, friends, funny, whatever, games. So I'll hop into the Android topic here. It's a little blown out, so sorry about that. But these are all the different feeds that I can basically scan through. The number you see on the right is essentially the number of unread messages. Obviously, I don't keep very on top of setting everything red when I'm done reading through it. I just kind of open it up, and luckily when you open it up, it takes you to the very most recent things at the top. So I kind of don't feel like I need to do that. But I'll click through to Android and Me, and it'll kind of show me some of the new articles within the feed, and you can kind of go through there and find something you haven't read. You can star it on the left-hand side if it's something that you like and you want to hold for later, or you can click through to it and take a look a little bit more at the details that are within that particular news item. You can also navigate through these news items within the feed down at the bottom. A nifty feature that I found a couple of days ago, actually, and I don't know why I never did this before. You see all these little RSS icons on the side. This is just such a silly little additional thing, but this use favicons or fave icons, whatever that is. I've heard both. If you click that, eventually these will all update with the fave icons for each individual site. It's not immediately updating right now, but eventually it ends up looking pretty cool. There's really not a whole lot of frills or gimmicks with the Google Reader app. It is exactly what you expect out of it. It's just basically the web experience, but put onto your portable phone. I also actually just checked it out on the tablet, so hold with me 1 second here, and I will go ahead and show you that. And, for the tablet, they really didn't go much further than what you saw on the phone. I don't even know if this is necessarily tablet optimized. Come on, focus there. It's just basically the same thing, but on a bigger screen. So there isn't a whole lot new to see there. And hopefully, maybe someday they'll come out with a revised version of this for the tablet, because when you take a look at a lot of the other RSS readers out there for tablets, I mean, they're doing a lot of really cool UI splashes and stuff that this Google Reader app kind of doesn't have. But no frills, no gimmicks, just gives you access to your Google Reader account online. So check it out. That's the Google Reader app in the Android market.
Simple and effective.
Boom. That's right.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for that, and Google does that very well. So yeah. It's hard to argue the Google Reader app. It's
agreed.
That's why I
bet
think you're gonna
Eileen
win.
will.
I will. I'm going to stand up for my app.
I think you should.
It is called Pulse, and it is also free in the Android marketplace. And I will launch it right there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, well, that's fine.
There we go. That's the Pulse.
Okay, so here it is. And I use Pulse not like I use Google Reader. Google Reader is more comprehensive. I like to use Pulse as sort of like a quick hit, sort of what are the top news of the day. I actually really use it for this show. And so I've built, various feeds here. You can see how gorgeous it looks, the UI, and you can kind of swipe to the left or to the right. Oh, and let me read about, let's see here, HTC Salsa and Cha-Cha. So that's what it looks like when you open up an article. Pretty fast, gorgeous, and you have options for Facebook, Twitter, or sharing, in numerous ways, as you see here. It's free, and then you can add tons and tons of feeds on this. Now, you probably don't want to because it's quite a bit, but you can add, let me show you here. They actually have, for those of you watching the show. So here's some featured feeds here. If you go into the Browse tab, there's a whole Android section. So that's pretty cool. Kind of highlights some of the most popular Android blogs. You can also port your Google Reader. Mm-hmm. Again, that's a lot of feeds, at least for me. So I'm not doing that. I'm kind of using it specifically for various feeds, like the Android feeds that I keep tabs with the most, and some food blogs. But I just like the UI. I like the design. And, this is one of those apps that has been ported or was created iOS first, and it's here, and it looks gorgeous. And it works pretty much the same. Let me show you the widget really quick. You can now with the widget, you can only pick one feed per widget, but it's not quite. Let's see. If I tap here, oh, it's not moving. There you go. It's a little wonky there. I don't really use the widget so much, but just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. And it's also optimized for the tablet. So
yeah,
you
actually,
have that
I have
there.
it right here.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That's a great way to read a feed. I love the thumbnails.
That's cool.
And the way it just you have more landscape here. So you can just kind of choose to read it via text like that, or actually go to the website. This is a good, sort of promise of tablet apps or apps in general in the Android marketplace. You can make pretty apps that are functional and organizational, and you can make it work for you. So I really love this. It's on my homepage on my phone, and also on my tablet as well. So Pulse it is. Pulse Reader. I don't know. Maybe I like pretty things. I don't know.
Yeah, but
it's still pretty. I think it's still pretty and functional at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not pretty just to be pretty. It's
right.
very functional in the way that it presents things to you, and it's very enticing because instead of just seeing plain text like you do see in the Google Reader, there isn't a whole lot of visual splash there. Mm-hmm. You actually get a little bit of context around it based on the image that it decides to pull into it.
And it's pretty important too for various feeds to have photos, because look at this one, the forums. Whatever. It's just. There's just a big difference looking at thumbnails versus looking kind of at text here.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, and you can also do all of your typical sharing from that app and everything as well. So yeah, cool. So that's Pulse.
And I think there's a ton of validity to wanting something that's pretty and wanting a good interface, and that's actually leads into my pick, which is an app called Feedly, which I first became aware of Feedly not on the Android platform, but actually from their Chrome application. It's in the Chrome store for the Google Chrome browser.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that was billed as their self description of it was transform Google Reader into a personalized magazine. And when I saw that, I instantly installed it because, like, over on the iPad, my favorite RSS reader is Flipboard because it turns my RSS feeds into a magazine, which is what I love to do and how I love to interact with it. So when I heard that Feedly came out with Android apps, jumped all over it, and actually they have it optimized both for the tablet as well as the phone. So I installed it on both and checked it out, and it's interesting. It's I'm giving it a positive review. I'm giving it a thumbs up. It's not as glitzy or as pretty as Pulse. I think they could turn up a couple of clicks on the design dial. I think it's very clean. I don't know if you can see this or you got it there. Excellent, great.
Oh yeah,
go back to your shot.
Okay.
Go back to your shot. So what you've got is it pulls in an image from each story, so you see that big square image. And then on the left, you can navigate through your various feeds that are there. And it basically, standard kind of swipe left and right kind of movement. You click on a story and it will load it up and take it full screen. It brings it up in kind of like a little mini browser. And then up in the upper right-hand corner, you've got a bunch of different actions that you can do. You can choose to like it in Google Reader, which if you use the Google Reader social functions, will spread to your followers. That's the other thing I quickly glossed over. Pulse had it. Feedly has it. Google Reader has become the de facto solution for housing RSS feeds. I don't know anybody who doesn't use it. So any RSS reader I'm looking for one that has Google Reader integration, because without that, what's the point? But from the article, you can bookmark it, you can tweet it out, you can send out a link, you can email it to your friends. It's really kind of social in that regard. What I find interesting about Feedly is that it comes preloaded like Pulse with a bunch of suggested feeds that they deem as essentials. So if you go back to the home screen and then in the upper left-hand corner, go to the menu, and you get that whole list there, and you should see a list of essentials, and they've got essential tech, essential design, essential Apple, essential Android, all these various different categories. So what I think is really interesting, back in the day when RSS kind of came out, you would get this arcane kind of developer-styled reader where you needed to load in all your RSS feeds. For this, the novice can stumble upon Feedly and get a bunch of great news sources right out of the gate and not need to load anything. Which really makes it, similar to Pulse in that it's easy to interact with, easy to work with. Now, the interesting thing about it over on the phone, and what's interesting is that your phone is looking different than mine. For whatever reason, I can't get mine to not be portrait mode, not landscape mode.
Oh.
And it's interesting that you have it there, which is really which makes me think I'm doing something wrong or I'm just an idiot.
So it's not working at all when it's in.
Yeah, every time I load up Feedly, if you want to cut to my camera, I get that, which is
Oh.
You see it's I can scroll and I can see the article, but if I get this gray box down at the bottom.
Oh, that's just a bug there, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a bug, and at least so I'm going to try reinstalling it to see if it works. But it's the same kind of interface, whether it's on the tablet or the phone, and I like that consistency in that if I'm moving devices, it's working the same way, the buttons are in the same place, all that sort of thing. The widget, it's got a widget that can go on the homepage. It shows you the latest article, so it's a little more flexible, I think, than the Pulse one. But it only shows you one article at a time, so you can't really scroll through articles on the widget. But Feedly, Feedly's a neat little application. I don't know if it's totally doing the magazine as RSS reader on the phone and tablet yet. I think, like I said, I think it's going a little more simpler in the design. There's the widget right there.
Yeah.
I think they could go a little.
Not a lot you can do with it. You just.
Yeah, you just click on it and it goes to the article. It's clean, it's simple, it's effective to use. It integrates the Google Reader really well. But I would like a little more bells and whistles along the interface, similar to like a Flipboard or even Pulse. But it's a nice little app. And now that I've got it on my browser, my tablet, and my phone, I've got consistency across all three places where I might be consuming news. So it's worth checking out.
Yeah, I think the one thing Feedly wins where you can actually star an item or thumbs up. I don't see that on Pulse.
And you can email it to people. And what's great in the settings, there's a whole bunch of, you can load in your own Bitly account, so you can control your URL shortener. It's got Instapaper integration, as well as Read Me Later, I think, is there as well as all sorts of settings about when you want to email somebody, who do you BCC, how do you set it up? Like, it's all these really interesting kind of settings that I never really thought of. You can, of course, change it from a light display to a dark display. You can increase the text size. Yeah, they've really thought of a lot of things. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
This is a pretty new app on Android as well.
Yeah.
So if you have some kind of criticisms about it, it's very possible that sometime in the near future they'll be addressing at least some of that stuff.
Yeah, it keeps logging me out of every time I relaunch it after maybe today. I have to relog in, but it's you just hit the button and then it gives you, your email.
Yeah.
Do you want to log in with this account or this account or this account? It's really easy, but it's just kind of like, why do you log me out?
I was playing with it a little bit this afternoon just to kind of get familiar with it. And, on the tablet and on the phone, both devices, I just had weird little issues here and there where actually very similar to what you were showing, Ron, on the tablet, where I could tell that they were rolling in some sort of like, I don't know if it was an ad or a sponsored page or something like that, but it just overtook it gave you the ad and then the rest of the page was kind of gray like that. So I don't know if maybe that was the issue.
I have noticed integrated ad spots in the content. So as you're scrolling through content, there'll be an ad block and they haven't sold those ads yet. So it's like, this will be an ad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so it's kind of weird like that.
You're reading it, so it's obviously effective.
Yeah. One thing on the tablet was that I couldn't get it to orient portrait on the tablet. It just stayed landscape as well. And so you know how when you've got the tablet, you're trying to get it to kick into the right mode?
Yeah.
It just wouldn't kick in at all. And I was looking in the preferences to see if there's a way to lock it into portrait or lock it into landscape. Didn't see that. So maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe somebody's using Feedly knows how to switch those modes. But all in all, I mean, like I said, it's a neat app with it's free. And it's got a lot of preloaded content in there already. So if you're new to RSS, it's worth checking out. Nice. And with the link to Google Reader, all my stuff is right there, and it just works out of the gate. So
awesome, yeah, cool. All the apps actually that we talked about today are free. So at least in the arena. So awesome. Well, those are 3 great apps. They all kind of bring a little bit different things to the table. So you should definitely check into those and find one. I'm sure one of those 3 will probably be something that will be right up your alley. So you can vote on these and let us know what you think and see if Eileen actually does win this time.
Do I win this week?
I think you're looking good this week.
If you're gonna play the sympathy vote, I don't know if that's legit. To be like, for me.
Well, I'm just saying, everybody who doesn't use Google Reader. Who?
Who
yes. doesn't use that?
Everybody uses Google Reader, but these apps use Google Reader too.
It's the default other.
True. No, but if you want more than just Google Reader, you go use Feedly.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Right, there you go. So
See what I did there? See how I did that? Yeah.
So poll.cm/1724. Poll.cm/1724 to vote for your favorite and let us know what you think. Which was your favorite of the 3 RSS readers that we talked about today? So let us know.
Do it.
So that's it for apps. We actually want to start kind of letting you know ahead of time what we're going to be doing next week. Next week, I think, because we all have tablets, we don't want to totally overtake our app sections with tablets because we realize that way more of you have phones than have tablets. But we thought it would be a good time to kind of highlight a week's worth of tablet optimized apps. So it's kind of like a grab bag, but it has to be optimized for honeycomb tablets. So we'll do that next week. If you have any suggestions or things that you'd like us to cover, feel free and email us in, and we'll consider those because you might know of something that we don't. So that's that. Let's move on to feedback, which we don't have a drop for feedback, do we?
Oh, I don't think we do. I thought we did for email.
No, you know what? We had a sound effect from Joshua Caleb.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any graphics,
That's
squishy
right.
graphic thing. We'll have to work on that. But we'll start off with a voicemail. This is from Hetton, I believe is his name, from Iowa. And this is a question about the Samsung Mesmerize and some issues Hetton is having.
Hey, all about Android show. My name's Hetton from Des Moines, Iowa. I've got a question on the U.S. Cellular Samsung Mesmerize. Would switching from the stock OS, rooting the phone, help with the problem some of us are experiencing where we can't get calls or the phone just completely flips out and we end up, like I am on my 3rd one, in about a month? If you guys could address this, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
That doesn't sound like fun.
Yeah.
I guess the short answer is it depends on if it's a hardware or a software issue.
Yeah.
If it's a hardware issue, then probably not. software yet.
Or network issue. If it's a problem with U.S. Cellular's coverage and the phone can't hold a call because the coverage isn't strong enough, there's nothing you can other than getting a. Do they still sell those little antenna stickers, those boosters?
Wow.
Yeah. But
no, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to isolate the problem. If you're on your third phone, the chances of you having 3 faulty phones in a row is pretty slim, unless the phones are crap. And this isn't a crap phone; it's a Samsung phone. It might be a bigger problem than that. So
yeah, I mean, I do know that rooting and installing an alternative OS on top of with your root can address these problems, because they're basically completely different system builds essentially, and there might be some sort of a conflict in your current system build that Samsung has given you by default on that phone that some other ROM wouldn't have. So it's very possible actually that some sort of a rooted ROM OS would fix that. Don't know for sure, and do it on your own terms. But
right, it might void your phone if you want to return it. Yeah, I had to look up the Mesmerize, but
yeah, it's really hard to say.
It's carrier issue, I almost want to say that, but we don't really know. But I would, if I were you, I probably would try rooting it. I would try it. I would try every single thing. If this is your third phone,
and I mean the thing about rooting is you can always factory reset it.
Yes.
To eliminate the root actually, so that when if you had to take it in again and that didn't work and you have to take it again, you factory reset it. You can take it in, and if you do it right, they're going to notice that you ever rooted anything. So there is a way backwards. Moving on to emails, this first one is from David Bates, who says, "Hello, Android crew. I'm fairly new to the Android world. For the most part, I love the Android experience, but when are they going to get the battery life as good as the phones themselves? Coming from a BlackBerry, the Android is extremely disappointing in this area. We really are unable to enjoy too many of the great Android experiences when we're away from the outlet for most of the day. Do you see any better batteries coming? Love the show." And I wanted to read this because, almost immediately after I read this, another email from Chuck came in, and it's a pretty long email, so I'm going to summarize it. But essentially, Chuck has always enjoyed full 12 hours of battery life at the minimum on his Droid Incredible. Until about a month ago, when it was fully depleted, he was finding in about 6 hours. And so he kind of suspected, he knew that it was capable of doing more, but he suspected that there was some sort of an app at fault. But he has like over 150 apps installed on his phone.
My kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of apps, but I'm sure tons of people are in the same position.
Oh, yes.
So it'd be very difficult to find which one by just looking at a list of 150. So he factory reset and installed one new app per day. This guy's got some regimented routine going on here. I give him credit for that. One per day to give him time to kind of monitor the performance and to find the culprit. Well, after many days of enjoying the 12 hours of battery life again, after doing the whole reinstall of the factory reset, he finally noticed a significant change, and that was upon loading an app called SoundHound, which I've never used. Eileen, you said I
have that, and maybe I should delete it because I have issues with battery life on my phone too.
Who knows?
Sorry, SoundHound.
Yeah, no, I mean, who knows if it's even SoundHound? I didn't want to read this necessarily to call SoundHound out specifically, but basically he left that app off, and eventually, he loaded the rest. He's still enjoying 12 hours plus battery life as a result, with 30% left at the end of the day. And I really wanted to read this because the automatic assumption is that the poor battery life rests on the hands of the device maker, or it's just a low capacity battery. And that, I'm not saying that isn't the case in some situations, but oftentimes there are apps that are battery hogs, or there are apps that don't manage their battery usage well, or you have an app installed that is really aggressive with how often it's hitting the network to try and update things, and it's doing it every 5 minutes or every 1 minute or whatever. So it's not always the hardware at fault, and you never know. You might have something installed that's pulling from your battery in a way that maybe it shouldn't. So
SoundHound is like Shazam.
Caution.
SoundHound is basically another version of Shazam. So you tap Well, you've got music playing and whatever. But I never see that on my background. You know,
what could it be doing to drain the battery that much? That's the thing. I mean, like that. Yeah. And I wonder if it's that app in addition to because the thing is, it's such a house of cards.
Yeah.
And when you have multiple apps, the way they interact with one another and the way they use the resources, I wonder if he did that again. If he installed SoundHound first and then went from there, whether you see the same results or not. Yeah,
and that's exactly why I say I'm not doing this to call it SoundHound. It's very possible that it wasn't that, but in his situation, it was. And who knows? You know, I don't know SoundHound, but maybe there was some sort of a setting that he had in there that was a little bit different.
There's not many settings in this thing. But
it's just hold it up and
identify
the song right now.
Here are the settings. Here, I'll show you. In preferences, you've got location, so maybe location. I mean, this is it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and then that's the app, and then
could not have been SoundHound. Who knows?
But it can also be. It can be any. I mean, it's any combination, like you said. It's any combination of how you have Wi-Fi on or not, Bluetooth on or not, GPS on or not, syncing on or not. I mean, like the key thing for battery life, what I tell any first-time Android user is install that widget with the power maintenance. The
power widget
on the top. You know, I never got there at the top.
Yep.
Because the thing is, this weekend I was out. I was away from a power outlet. I was out in a music festival in Kentucky, and first thing I did was turn off GPS, turn off syncing, brought my brightness all the way down, and that got me at least a couple more hours of battery life. So I mean, it's a balance of so many different things. It's a juggling act, really. So
absolutely. All right. Well, so there you go.
A great experiment, though.
Totally.
You know, the 1 app a day thing.
That's crazy.
I know when you're talking about 150
days,
apps, that's a lot of time.
A year, right?
Yeah, no kidding. But it worked for him, so bravo. Cool. And then one of you want to take the last email?
Eileen?
Oh, okay.
One of you, a.k.a. Eileen, want to take the last email?
I thought, Ron, you were going to jump in. Hey, guys, this is from G.O. Wanted to write back to thank you guys for following up on the information I forwarded you a couple weeks back, our episode 6 regarding Gameloft's Android unfriendly DRM policy. Thankfully, thanks to everyone that was involved in getting the word out, Gameloft has done an about-face and will now allow users to re-download titles purchased from their web store.
Yay.
You can see all the pertinent details, including letters from Gameloft regarding their DRM policy change at this link. And again, thanks for your help. You've done the Android community a service. Thanks, Gia.
I don't know if we can take credit for it.
I know.
I
think other people have complained, like yourself.
Yeah.
But hey, this is in one episode. We've seen AT&T do an about face on sideloading.
Yes.
We've seen Gameloft do an about face on re-downloading. Right?
Now we just got to get the movies.
Yeah. 1 app at a time.
Exactly.
Maybe that should be our. The screen's all messed up. Oh, I've never seen that one before.
Wow.
All right, well, changing the world 1 app at a time.
That's
That'll be our new subhead. All right, well, I think that's probably it. Hey, Ron, why don't you tell people where they can find you?
Cool. People can find me. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/RonXO, or you can find me out on the web at ifanboy.com, which is a website all dedicated to comics, or graphically.com, which is an app for reading comics. So.
Right on. Awesome. Yeah. And Eileen, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter at EileenTV.
Fantastic. And you can find me on Twitter as well. I am Raygun01. And thank you so much for tuning in to All About Android this week. Don't forget you can email us at aaa@twit.tv. You can leave us a voicemail at 347-SHOW-AAA. You can follow us on Twitter at Android Show. Find our show notes. We have show notes for every episode, twit.tv/AAA, and catch us live every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific at live.twit.tv. So thanks so much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you guys next week on another episode of All About Android.